Yo,
Welcome
yo.
aboard, everybody. My name is Doobyis. This thing is called Fly in Formation. It's a weekly interview series where I reach out to artists across Canada, trying to do my best to learn more about each individual scene across the map and kind of the artists who make it up. And I figure the best way to learn about each individual scene is to actually ask the artists who are out there, boots on the ground. If anybody knows who's dope on each scene, it's normally the artists. I feel like people keep pretty good tabs on what's going on around them. Most of the time, there's some guys who, do the artistry thing in a bubble. But for the most part, I have found that talking to artists has been, very illuminating for the scenes across the country. This week, I am joined by my guest, Toronto MC Zeppo. Happy to have you,
Yo,
man.
yo.
How you doing?
What's up? What's up? How you doing, man? Good to be
Oh,
here. Good to be here. Thank you
life.
for having me.
Hey, yeah, appreciate it, man. Life is good on this side. We have been getting ridiculously warm weather. I think it's almost 20 degrees outside right now. So, I
You're
got
lucky, bro.
nothing to complain about out here.
You're super lucky. You're super lucky. It's snow everywhere here. Holy
Oh,
shit.
shit. Well, I didn't mean to gloat about it, but yeah, down in southern Alberta, we're keeping it pretty warm over here, dude. I I gotta admit, I haven't been as tapped in as I should have been. When we were talking a little bit before this interview, I was like, "Do you have a recent album?" And then I like had to go look, and I had played like 3 or 4 tracks from that album, but I didn't realize like that the entire fucking thing was out and that it existed. So I
Mhm.
apologize. I added it to my list of like, albums from 2025's Canadian scene. Um, that's like, I think, I don't know, 4,000 songs deep or something like that. But
Damn.
it was one of the
Yeah.
late additions on the list that, like, I guess I was kind of paying attention to because I was seeing singles drop or like noticing when, I don't know, songs with certain features came out or something. But I definitely played a few tracks from that album, and then I listened to it just over the last couple of days here to really see what the fuck we should be talking about here. But I guess, do you want to just kind of start off giving people like a an introduction to who you are as an artist and kind of how you've got here in your creative journey?
Yeah, man. I'm out of Durham, but I rep Toronto. But you know, I've been doing this for a minute, though, man. Um, uh, Not really much to say. You start rapping in high school, and you kind of just take it from there.
Yeah, for
Uh,
real.
Doing it
So
for a long time. So
can I
yeah.
ask like, how long have you been in Toronto? Because this was a thing, and this is a constant thing with me as I find new artists who are working with other artists across the country. I go check the bio and see, like, on Spotify where most of their listeners are from and that type of thing. Trying to figure out, like, okay, is this a Canadian artist? Because I'm trying to focus on just the national scene up here. So, uh, now you're based in Toronto, right?
Well, no, I'm Durham, so
Oh,
that's East Toronto.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Um, based in the GTA, we'll say, anyways. Okay, but not American. Isn't there a Durham in America too?
Maybe.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
I'm
I was
half
thinking like
American.
North Carolina or some shit like that. But
Oh shit.
maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Uh,
Maybe.
so you are Canadian based.
Mm.
I've just been confused on it because, yeah, like when people don't write anything in their bio, and I noticed your bio says like, does it really matter? But then it says Canada behind it, and I was like, it does matter sometimes if somebody's just trying to book Canadian artists. It's
No,
fairly
it's true.
important for us to know where you're from. But yeah, do you try to kind of stay away from that? This is something I've been thinking about, like with Canadian hip hop as a label, is it probably chases a lot of people away. So I've been trying my best to say like, this is hip hop from Canada now, rather than like this is Canadian hip hop all the time.
I don't think so. I think, especially now, we have like a real movement out here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's some real good Canadian hip hop. So I think it's a good calling card. To be honest, I think more people are checking for our sound.
They
So
should be,
I don't think
man.
it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. I have heard the opposite of that from some artists who are like, "Man, I hate being lumped in with Canadian hip hop. I'm just trying to go global, go to the world or whatever." Which, there's power in that as well. But I hope what you're saying is true, man. That people are starting to tap in more and realize that like the scene is deeper than just kind of the 3 or 4 names everybody knows. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a ton of stuff going on. I guess when hmm, how long have you been making albums for? Your stuff on Spotify goes back to like 2020 or so.
Yeah, maybe like 2020. I did a little stuff with like, I had a crew and stuff from before, get some stuff here and there, but me actually dropping like my own project, 2020 was probably
Okay,
first time.
nice.
But man, okay. I
And
just want to also, but real quick for your listeners, just let you know, like I got a situation with my eye. I'm not trying to sit here and look like the cool guy with the shades on. You know what I'm saying? I got a little medical thing going on with my eye, so
sure,
that's
no,
why.
I think what was it? I think it was the president of France had to do a presser wearing sunglasses like a week or two ago, and he was catching some shit for it. But apparently, it was the same reasoning that he had some sort of eye problem or whatever. So, yeah, no, it happens, man. We get it. No worries. Um, Something I wanted to ask you, bro, is do you speak French? Like the name Zeppo, obviously incorporates some French into it there. You're one of the few artists who kind of has a name that is French based like that I can really think of. Do you speak French? Are you bilingual?
I do speak French. Yeah, yeah, that's
Okay.
kind of part of where it came from. I do. Yeah, I took some French when I was younger. You know what I mean? So I can speak French.
Does Zeppo make more sense to somebody who speaks French? I don't speak French, but does that mean something in French that I'm
Nah,
missing?
like the name Zeppo is something different. So I just combined it with the "la" kind of because I do kind of have like a little. I speak French, just
Yeah,
trying to find something that was unique to put with the name. But no, you don't have to be French to understand the name at all.
sure. Um, do you find like are there many bilingual people in the GTA area? I kind of thought, that's more of further east out in Montreal and shit.
I don't know. Like I know quite a few. I can't say that I know like maybe I won't say I know like 20 people, but like a lot of people I know, yeah, they can speak. I mean, I feel like in second language, it's almost like you think in the states, there'd be like people that could speak. Was it Spanish?
Right, yeah.
For it being their second. But yeah, I find that a lot of people do. More than you think probably.
Yeah, likely. Do you ever rap in French?
Occasionally, like not a full verse or anything like that. I might put in a word or I might put in a sentence in there. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, that
But
makes sense. Um So I guess let's talk about some of the albums you've put out, man. Like you've kind of been on a tear of doing like one producer, one MC albums. You worked with Che Uno, or sorry, Ninth Uno,
yeah, that's
Ninth
the homie
Uno.
right there. Yeah, yeah, that's the homie right there.
Yeah, and you had an album with B1 as well,
Hmm.
and then this most recent one, the producer was Save Me, I believe. Is that yeah?
Out of the UK. Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Um,
dope producer. Very dope producer.
Nice. Have you ever actually, like, shaken hands and met in person, or was that a online
Nah,
link up?
nah. I talked to him on the phone though. We talked a couple times. He did the art for the project too,
Okay,
the cover art and everything for it. So he's a very very skilled artist and
nice.
just dope man. A lot of energy. You know.
Um, do you prefer the kinda one MC, one producer format compared to, trying to put an album together with a bunch of different production on it?
I've been doing a lot of it. I don't mind it. It's good because you get to work with it's almost like training with a partner, but also having a coach.
Right,
You know what I mean? So it's like you kind of get the best of both worlds, especially if they understand your sound. If they understand your sound, then it's like a match made in heaven.
sure.
But if I have my own beats, like if I did, a bunch of different producers, it makes it easier for me to put it together without any it's mine. You know, so
Right. Yeah. Um, do you feel like I've been talking to a lot of producers actually in the past, like, month, interviewed several different guys who produce, and we kinda talked about how working one MC, one producer kind of lets a producer have a little bit more creative control in the album by maybe offering beats that the MC might not normally want to rhyme on. In your case, are you choosing the beats from beat packs and it's you choosing the beats specifically, or do the producers get input into which beats you end up rapping on?
this, I mean, like there's been beat pack situations, but usually what ends up happening is that we'll meet together especially something like with the Ninth situation or with, somebody I work with D.O.V or even B1, and that organically, that's usually when the magic happens, you know? Not necessarily picking the beats, but feeling them,
Right.
and kind of feeling the vibe, the way you wanna go with it. But, yeah, like, I mean, feedback is customary, but sometimes you really need to be in the studio with the producer to really get that vibe. I know it wasn't like that with Save. Sometimes you gotta make compromise, but,
Word. So, for the other albums, like with the B1 album or the Uno album there, did you actually do most of the sessions in person together then?
the ninth Uno, we did a lot of the sessions in person, in fact. That's kinda like how we like to work, you know? With, B1, it was a mix. It was like 50/50, you know?
Okay.
So we kinda got to kinda mix it up a little bit, and it's based on time too, you know? So,
Eh,
but with the 9 situation, it was we were cooking inside.
nice. Is that how you prefer it? Like if it was, ideal world and everybody had all the time in the world and all the life stuff was out of the way, would you always be in person sessions with the producer?
Yeah, because, I mean, you really just get the vibe. It's kinda just getting the vibe, getting the head nod at the same time, or, like, if you guys don't agree with something, you could hash it out right there. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You don't have to wait, which is, can also be a killer for momentum. Get there, you kind of build the pyramid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense, man. I think there is a lot of good chemistry that you can hear from music that's been produced organically like that with people in the same spot. Um, were you actually there, like as the beats were being made from scratch? Did you have input kind of on that level as far as like, oh, yo, that sounds dope?
Sometimes. Very
Yeah.
little with that. Not so
Okay.
much so, not so much so
Yeah,
in the
makes sense.
creation.
How about the, mix and master end of all that? Did you send that off to somebody else? Or I mean, I imagine B1 probably handled it for that album. Uh, how about for the
In,
other 2?
in both situations, so for when I work with Ninth mix and masters all his stuff. That's,
Okay.
he's ill with that, and then same thing with B1 on his side, whenever we work with this whenever I work on his stuff. And even stuff I've worked on, outside of that, I've commissioned B1 to mix and master it for me because he's solid. He's got that in the pocket too. So both guys really have it in the pocket. Really don't have to worry. It's when I'm working on something that's not produced by those guys that I have to kind of consider, you know, how we're going to move forward with it.
Yeah,
Sometimes that could be an issue with certain producers.
sure. Do you home record yourself at all? Like, do you have a studio set up at your place?
I don't know. I probably
Okay.
need to get at that. Yeah, that's something I need to work on. It'll make it easier out for output. So
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, but the thing is, though, you lose that, the chemistry of being in the same spot, like you were saying. It's pros and cons to it. Some guys love it because they can record at 2 a.m. or whenever they get a chance to kind of get in the booth and do the recording. If it's at their house, it's a little bit easier that way. But yeah, it's a bit of a toss up as to whether that's actually the best way to be doing it or not. I think it's the easiest way to be doing it, sending files back and forth, especially if you're
well,
collaborating with people overseas. Yeah.
well, it's good too because you kind of get to like mapping out a blueprint. Sometimes one of my bigger issues is I don't know how something in my head sounds, and I had to. You gotta wait till you get to the studio to find out. And if it doesn't work, you might have rested on that for like a week or so. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's good. It's good to really get a lot of your ideas out when you have that kind of home system. And I would try to do both in that sense. You know what I mean? I would try to do that, still try to get in there with the producer. And then some producers like to work abroad in that sense too. You know what I mean? Like it works easier for them too because they're busy, right? They don't have time for it to always collaborate in house.
Right. How, how have you been choosing which producers to work with? Like, what do you look for in a producer before you reach out and try to do a full album?
Uh, I don't know. I'm like a fan first. So if I hear something I like, be it an artist or a producer, I either just post it or I'll just hit him up and say, "Yo, your shit is dope." Like, I don't really have any feel about that shit, you know what I mean? Maybe some other artists do, but there's been tons of artists and producers that have just literally either posted their stuff, just been like, "Your shit is dope." I just wanna tell you that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No harm in that shit. For me,
Yeah, I think a lot of artists are too afraid to give props like that. They don't want to come off like they're looking for a handout or something. But like, dude, I think independent artists around the world appreciate it when people get at them and say like, "Yo, I enjoy what you're doing." Right? It's,
yeah, for
it's
sure,
yeah.
for
Um,
sure.
so can we talk about? I guess the newest album is called Elegant Doom. I noticed looking at the title that you've got Doom all capitalized. Um, Am I right in reading some MF Doom, homage into that, or
A little bit, that's like my favorite MC,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Not
that
the
makes
best MC, but my favorite MC.
I mean, the argument for best is there, I don't know. It's tough to name a best of anybody in
There's
art,
a lot
but,
of there's a
uh,
lot of MCs. There's a lot of people who I know, you know, people would put on their Mount Rushmore, but I always feel like it's almost like, fighting. It's like it's about styles for styles, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, yeah. Do you feel like stylistically the album, like, drew from some MF Doom styles?
uh, I don't know, you know, I'm always listening to Doom, so it's never like it's something that's maybe, you know what I'm saying? There's always some influence there.
Sure.
It really came from the image and Save These beats that they have this kind of, like, atmosphere of this kinda, like, elegant doom of this, like, you know, beautiful chaos, you know, the juxtaposition of those things, and the image kinda said it all, the way he kinda put it together with all the different kinda, you know, his collage art was brilliant.
Yeah,
Kinda brought it to life like that, so it was kind of like a kinda picked up momentum. With that, he kinda sent me a pack of, you know, a few of them, and then, you know, I kinda wrote to those, and I'm like, "I need more," you know, and then he's kinda like, you know, feeding me breadcrumbs, which was good because it made me hungry for the next beat, you know what I mean?
sure, yeah.
Feels good.
Were you sending him back finished product then? Like, the album came together kinda song by song and he got to hear as it was happening?
Yeah, a little bit. I would send him snippets of what was going on, so I'm hoping that would get him hyped too.
Nice.
And also to let him know, like, you know, it's in the forefront of my mind, this project right now, like, spit.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of producers complain about, sending MCs beats and then it just being, like, infinitely backburnered until eventually they realize, like, "I'm never gonna hear anything on that beat, am I?" But, uh, I think a lot of MCs fall into that trap just from the abundance of beats that's out there. It's tough to always concentrate on one
It
project
is,
rather than work on a bunch, right?
it is, dog. It
Yeah.
really is.
Um, so I noticed on that album, you, you only had 2 solo tracks, lots of features on it. Was that the intention going into it, or did things just kinda shape up that way?
Things kinda shaped up that way. I don't know. I look interesting for me because, like, when I hear a joint and it's playing, it's almost like, I don't know. I look at this emceeing shit like movies sometimes. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes I can hear somebody like casting the right person for the role in a movie, and I'm just like, yo, I would love to hear what this person would do on this beat. So, you know, and sometimes it's after I record it, sometimes it's when I hear the beat. You know, lucky enough, I've been able to work with a lot of MCs I respect. You know what I mean? A lot of MCs I listen to myself. They're willing to drop drop some heat on some of my joints. So it ends up working that way. And then I can't just like be like, well, I wanted this to be a solo joint, and then I have this person drop this Peter 16. I'm like, nah, we're releasing that. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? So
yeah.
yeah, but
Um,
no, it kind of just happened. The one track though, Iron at Death. There's some tracks that I'm like, taking this is mine. You know what I mean? That one, I was just like, I just was haunted on that beat, so I felt like I had to sample it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that makes sense, man. Were the rest of the features on there kind of, Like, would you record your part and then send it out to them? Or, talk a little bit about how some of those, features came together? Because you've got Roshan on there and JD Era, B1, few MCs I'd never heard of, like, Indigo Phoenix and, Gideon Knight on Seance there. I mean, they killed it. I was unfamiliar completely with either of them, though.
Ian Knight is a legend. I'm not sure if you know, but you should look him up. He's been fire since the teen years. He's well, you heard him on the track. He's
Yeah,
got and the Indigo I met online. I think she's from out the states. I can't remember where she's from, but she does a magazine. She's also a jack of all trades. She's also like dope with it. I always like a dope female MC. I'm always looking for that.
yeah,
So when I heard her, I was like, yo, I hope she can drop something on there. She actually happened to be connected with Save Me as well. So that all came together.
nice.
Roshan, I heard him. Somebody posted him on Instagram, and the same thing. I'm just like, the guy's sick. Like, what? How have I never heard of this man?
Yeah,
So I reached out, and I was already kind of in doing something with JD Era. Went down to his studio, and we kind of chopped it up, and so I sent that my verse and JD's verse to Roshan, and tapped that. That's how free came.
nice. He, um, is he the first voice on that album? I feel like,
Yeah,
yeah, Roshan
yeah.
starts it off, which is, like, something you don't hear often on people's albums, like, I don't know, other than, like, Memphis Bleak on a Jay-Z album or something, I can think of off the top of my head back in the day, but, like, yeah, most of the time, it's a bit of a change up to hear somebody else's voice first on somebody's album. Did you think at all about that?
Not initially, but I also think about the order, like how it would sound. Like
Right.
I know a lot of artists would probably be like, "This is like typically this is my album. The first voice you're gonna hear is somebody else's voice." It's just like what, like I'm not sure if I'm gonna go with that risk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But dude's verse is a heat. It's a heat rock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I
And it
don't
just
think
set the
anybody's hearing that and turning away, from
yeah,
it.
and
Yeah.
it just set the tone for the album. I felt like it just set the tone. I appreciate it. He dropped something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And I came in with the second verse right after, so you know what it is. But
For yeah, definitely.
you
You
know,
you check in fairly quick on the album for sure, yeah.
yeah.
Um, so I guess, like, looking through your catalog, I noticed that it's all pretty, feature heavy. Are you I guess maybe are you more comfortable, like, as a cypher MC kind of doing 16 and passing the mic off? Or, talk about just the difference between, doing solo stuff and working with artists.
Uh, I kind of like the Marvel team up aspect of it.
Yeah,
Like I got a project coming out, a couple projects coming out where I'm gonna explore more of you'll hear more of me, less features.
sure.
But I'm thinking of singles right now too, as well. And a single cut usually I want it to pop. And I also these are a lot of artists that I like to work with. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if I could make the feature happen, so be it. I feel like it's for the sake of the art. You know?
I think it really builds, unity amongst the scene too when artists are reaching out to each other and, you can hear a who's who of Toronto MCs on any given album, I think that that really goes a long ways in merging fan bases and just exposing more people to more artists who normally they might not have heard. It's one of the reasons that I do this show and that I do my mix show after the smoke is clear, is just to try to get more music in more people's ears, like new listeners, and try to just kind of cross pollinate and spread love that way, right?
Mhm.
And so props, I think, for doing that, as much as, I'm also looking forward to hearing whatever you're working on that's a more solo, project coming up. Um, but yeah, I guess, is it a conscious, decision that you wanna do, like, a more solo project?
Um, I mean, I guess it kind of comes down to sometimes it comes down to what I want to say. This next one, in a sense, is a little bit more personal. don't get me wrong, there's gonna be features on it,
Mhm.
um, but and it's kind of there's 2. I always have to work on multiple 'cause I have I have a lot of that I wanna get down to. But, I guess a little bit of conscious, it's not you're not the first person to kinda say, "My stuff's feature heavy," a little bit, you know? They'd like to get a little bit more, uh, of me. So, it's something that I have kept in the back of my mind, just, when the right time.
Yeah, makes sense. Um, I guess can you tell us more about what to expect from the new project? Is it one producer?
This one is so there's 2. The one is multiple, so you should be having, like, some of the usual suspects, like production, D.O.V, and then some different kind of people. Um, I got Reason on there, that track with, me and Safe is one of the tracks, uh,
Sorry, track with you and who?
and, uh, Safe,
Oh, okay, nice.
yeah, Kane and Lynch,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's already out, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you got the single out for it. Okay, yeah, I've
yeah,
I've played that one on Attic already. Yeah.
I got a few other features on that too, and then the other one is, it's a crazy the visual artist, but he makes beats too out of Montreal, his name's Gaunt,
Okay,
and we got some cooking up, but a little bit under wraps, you know? And that's me, like that's the thing, man, that those are solo ventures, and then I have ventures where it's me and another MC, uh, kind of doing our thing together too. Like, me and Legit we've been cooking up some real good shit with, we got Fresh Kills involved, we got Rels involved, we got some people involved.
nice,
So there's some stuff that we got coming out, you know?
nice,
Just
man.
gotta
Look,
wait for it a little bit.
looking forward to it. No set date for either of them yet. Eh?
Nah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Nah.
Um, do you normally like when you're gonna drop an album? What does the rollout normally look like for you? Do you put thought into like, oh, okay, I'll put out a single, and then another single, and then another single, and then the album, or is it just kind of when something's ready to go, throw it out to streaming?
I usually have, like, a single that floats, like the one I have now, and then I usually try to hit it later with at least 2 follow-ups before the album, so you kinda know what you're gonna get, and then you gotta listen to the album for the rest of it. What I do need to do more of is videos. I just haven't really dipped my toe in shooting videos like I should. The visuals are important. I tend to focus a little bit too much on the side.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had no idea what you looked like until like I feel like did you put your face on Spotify just recently? Because when I looked at your profile recently, I was like, oh, okay, that's who this dude is. But uh, yeah,
Yeah,
I had no
that's been
idea
the thing.
before that.
That's been the thing, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't really take too many. I don't take too many pictures. So I'm not really, I guess you wouldn't be able to. I never think about that. That's no point. But yeah, kind of a different thing.
yeah, yeah. Um, I guess you don't strike me as somebody who's like too focused on like, okay, check the boxes to make sure that I am the most accessible to the most people and can get my music out to the most people. Are you focused on kind of just staying in a niche and making music that appeals to you and a niche audience, or do you ever think about like how can I make this something that's that more people are gonna tap into?
Uh, I have this conversation with a close home to me of mine, MC2 details. He's always like, expansion is key. You know what I mean? So it is something, we talk about and how we're going to like, especially with my kind of how I deal with my brand, how we can expand it a little bit in these different ways, you know. But I am a like a firm believer in a kind of a niche movement as well.
Yeah,
Like if you do something good, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of a thing.
sure.
Um, I do like staying in the pocket like that, but I'm not gonna lie to you, there are some things I would like to dip into sonically, like musically, um, that are a little bit different than what I have been doing, but in time, you know what I mean? I do like the pocket of emceeing right now. I'd like to expand that a little bit more before I try something.
Yeah, most of your stuff, I would describe as like kind of gritty street level, I don't know, like cinema noir type stuff. It all seems kind of shadowy and yeah, not necessarily made for mainstream consumption, not necessarily made for like, people to dance to in a club or whatever. It's more for lyricists who are looking for boom bap and bars, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever make anything with people that dance to in clubs, but,
Yeah, right? Yeah,
maybe, maybe, you know?
fair enough, man. Um, do you think do you think that that's limiting? Like, would you have an easier time finding a bigger crowd if you stepped out and did multiple styles? Because a lot of your stuff is that street based, and I mean a lot of artists are finding success in that lane. Um, it's a well worn niche, right? There's a lot of people out there doing street raps. How do you stand out from the pack in that?
I don't know, I feel like I try to make my content a little bit more, maybe not a little bit more, but close to me, like, kinda close to try to be as authentic, to me as possible with the
Yeah,
content. Um, I do think that, like, kind of expanding it a little bit would be interesting. I don't, like, read rap so much, so it's like I do like the cinema noir. I do like
yeah. Don't
how
let me
you
describe it.
know?
If you've got a better
But,
description for your own
but,
sound
uh,
than I
you
just
know
gave, go ahead with it, man.
but, yeah, like, I guess it's just because it's what I kinda grew up listening to, in a sense. So it's what appeals to me more, but I do think, kind of like being versatile, like a Swiss Army knife kind of idea
Yeah,
is, uh, is important, and like I said, I would like to dip into that. Maybe not like, you're never gonna catch me making pop music or like salsa or anything like that, you
sure.
know?
Yeah, yeah,
But, yeah, I would like to switch up. I think it's beneficial, I think I have the ability to do so. I've just been, to be honest with you, man, I think I've just been a little bit comfortable with what it is, you know?
okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing I've discussed with a lot of different artists is whether it's better to master kind of one style, right, and get really comfortable with that style, or to explore all sorts of different styles. And different guys have different takes on that answer. I don't think there is a right answer to that necessarily. um
Well, it's all like picking up, tools, so I feel like at the end of the day, it all come back and make whatever style you settle with stronger, you know?
yeah, yeah,
It's all
definitely, man.
it's all tools you can add.
um can I ask you, like, what type of stuff have you been listening to? This is something I ask everybody. Do you actually listen to Canadian hip hop? Do you listen to music by all these other dope MCs?
Yeah, man, I
Oh,
totally do.
okay.
Yeah, I listen like, what have I listened to lately? Um, Me and Ninth got some coming out. I'm always listening. He's scarce with his stuff, so I listen to a lot of old stuff. Ninth, I'm always listening to. A-Sun, I'm always listening to. Daniel Son, I'm always listening to. Details, um, Legit. Uh,
Yeah, a lot of good names in there. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's actually crazy. I listen to a lot of, you'd be surprised. I listen to mostly Canadian uh, hip hop when I do check. But the odd thing is, like, the typical, like, of course, I'm listening to West Side. Of course, I'm listening to, the new Nas that came out, listening to rock.
Sure.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Banks, Lloyd Banks.
Did
And
you check out
so
the new J. Cole album? I haven't
I
yet,
haven't
so I
yet.
don't
I
have
haven't yet.
an
I
opinion.
haven't.
Oh, okay.
I know last year the Clips album was really good.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. That was one of the few American albums that actually, caught my attention and got a few listens out of me. Like you say, I only listen to kind of the biggest releases or whatever. Uh Nas and Primo and Ghostface and stuff like that. I love what Nas has done with this whole mass appeal run of albums, just like promoting some of the originators who, don't necessarily get the love anymore. But yeah, man, there's so much good music out there that it's tough for me to keep up with the American stuff while also doing a weekly show that's focused on the new Canadian music, right? So,
Yeah.
y
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm listening to 6, 7, 8 hours worth of new, independent stuff from Canada every week. So, yeah, sometimes I gotta put that J. Cole album on sometime, but, it's not so
It'll
important,
happen.
you know?
It'll happen. It'll happen. It's early in the year.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, man. Um, can I can I ask you, like, this is just kind of a random question, but,
Sure.
what's the most annoying thing about being a rapper in Canada? Like, what's the downside of being up here?
Uh, Downside, I don't know if it's annoying. Maybe, I don't know. You know, I don't know what to really say. I feel like everything's par for the course, but I'd probably say, uh, maybe recognition. Like, there's a lot of Canadian MCs, but I would assume it's like that everywhere. There's a lot of MCs everywhere,
Yeah,
the internet and everything. But, kinda with the issue you were talking about before with trying to identify who they are, and then trying to actually make a mark because we do have, like, beginning, like, a thriving fucking beyond groundswell right now, you know?
definitely.
Uh, so maybe that, you know what I mean? Maybe that.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough to get noticed by the global market up here. The guys that do it, they always amaze me. That's another reason that I started doing this show was to just ask guys like, "How the fuck did you do that, bro?" And it's been a fun journey hearing everybody's different opinions, but I've really come to realize that I don't think that there is like a best practice on how to market yourself or what type of music to make or any of these things, right? Like everybody's got different answers for it, and a lot of them seem to find success doing it differently than other guys do. There's really no one size fits all structure that everybody could just, copy the code and get the success or whatever, right? Um, how about this, dude? Do you get more fulfillment making music in the studio or from being on stage?
It's different. It's different. Studio, studio, it's like trial and error. Sometimes it's not even necessarily fun. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's like it's almost like working something out, in the studio a lot of time. Whereas on stage, it's still fun. It's still the process is still good, especially when you hear yourself. It's always a trip hearing myself in
Yeah.
the studio, you know? Um,
Realizing the vision that was in your head, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
stage is like you kind of I don't know, it's a different kind of energy, man. I don't always love being on stage, but I do love there's been certain moments I do love the kind of vibe you can get from the crowd, and I do love what it feels like to be on stage, you know what I mean? But I feel like at the end of the day, I like making music more than I like performing.
Okay. Yeah. Have you been doing much performing lately? Like, have you got a chance to get out on stage much?
I think I had a performance last year. I think between the last couple years, I've only had about 2,
Okay.
you know what I mean? I haven't really gotten out there as much. A lot of my issue too is I need to get out there more, to be completely honest. I'm not really out there like I should, I kinda my profile might be a little bit too low, you
Okay.
know?
Like, as far as actually getting out to other people's shows and shaking hands and that type of thing, or
Yeah,
uh,
that or even performing at shows, I need to do a lot more of that as well.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
but yeah,
take note, any other Toronto-based artists who are listening, get him involved in the shows. Get him out there to perform more. Um, how about how about this, man? How do you balance the work life elements of this. Like, I think a lot of indie artists are trying to figure out, like, okay, I got to hold down a job. I've got to find time to, spend with family or whatever else. Then I've got hobbies that I wish I could do. And I'm trying to make music. And I've got to figure out how to promote all this music all the time. Like, it's just, I think a lot of artists have such full plates. What's your strategy for dealing with all that and keeping the plate spinning?
just gotta do it. Kinda with me, like I've been writing rhymes since like high school, since elementary school, and like I was writing rhymes instead of doing instead of doing my homework. I was writing rhymes in class instead of doing,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So like
I can
for
relate.
me,
Yeah.
it's second nature. Like I could be at work and I'll grab a piece of paper or a napkin. I'll have a line in my head and I'll write it down. I still very much believe in writing shit down with a pen and paper.
Okay.
Uh, you know, I might transfer it to the phone 'cause it's easier to read, but I
Right.
still feel like that organic process of pen and paper is like everything. It just takes me back to when I'm in my, when you're in your crib when you were a kid and you're just sitting there with the beat playing over and over again with your paper and your pencil and you're just like, come in, dog. I just gotta sit here for 15 minutes longer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Um,
But
when you're writing
the
with pen and
ultimate,
paper, do you have to take a little bit of a different, approach to writing than? Because I know a lot of artists have told me, like, they write on their phones because it's easier to edit. Do you do the, like, scratched out lines to replace lines underneath it or, like, write in the, you know, margins and all this? I've seen people's whose handwritten lyrics are just like a code you've gotta decipher kinda thing.
okay, so mine's not quite like that, but the phone does edit it, does do the edits in my mind to the best of its ability of like how I could do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how I hear it in my brain. But, when I write it on it's different. It's visual for me. So when I write it on paper, I may not even write it in the lines. It could be like almost like a mind map,
Okay.
in a style, but
Yeah.
it's visual for me. Like I gotta see it in my head, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I can transfer it into literary form.
Interesting, man. Yeah, there's so many different approaches to how guys manage to get the words out of their head and to the people, you know. How about dude, can I ask you, so typically before these things, I'll punch somebody's name in, ask AI what it knows about the person. AI doesn't know much about you. One thing that it was going back to as it was telling me about you was that you're part of a crew called the Art Dealers, and I was like I told AI I thought it was hallucinating because I think that's just a project, right? Is that a crew
Uh,
or is that a project?
It's like some shadow crew. It's me and my homie, D.O.V. We've, haven't actually dropped, a tape, you know what I mean? It's coming. It's one of those ones like, can't remember that album back in the day where RZA was making The Cure. Remember the RZA back in the day was coming out with The Cure?
Right?
It's
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
It's like that. I don't know if it's coming, but it's just coming. You know what I'm saying?
Potentially. Okay.
But no,
Um,
that's the homie. Like that's kind of our group. We're the art dealers. He does the beats, raps a little bit, and I rap.
nice. Okay. Um, Deal one, you said, eh? I'll have to make sure I'm
Deal
following
one.
him as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So I normally do a section of questions where it's kind of more rapid fire. I'm just going to ask, like, how important is this or that thing? And you can be long winded or brief about it. I've got a ton of them. So we'll rattle off a few of them and hit the hour mark, and then we'll call this thing a day. But
Let's go.
how important is saying things in your songs that haven't been said before?
Important. Very important.
Yeah. How about how important is having a good stage show?
Important.
Yeah.
Very important. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it could be the game changer. Seriously.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you for the most part that, like, you never know who's in the room and what handshake might happen after the show. But I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me, like, nah, it's the internet era, man. You can blow up without ever doing a show. Do you think there's any viability there? Like, is that possible?
I feel like there's people that maybe have, and I feel like you can, or there will be the ability to.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that takes that or that puts that taste in your mouth when you see that artist that you've seen perform in real time, and it's just wordless, like, it's just,
Yeah.
you know? And you're just like it just takes that away, you
That's a
know?
really good point, man. I would say, I guess, that it seems like most fans who are actively engaged, that's their entry point, is they're fans of somebody who they saw a show of years back or whatever, right? Like they remember when that guy came through town, and since then they've been following his music kind of thing. Whereas it's tough for me to just be like, "Yo, look, it's a list of Canadian hip hop artists. Don't you wanna go support this guy?" And they're like, "I don't know who the fuck those people are," right? Um, the show kinda makes a mark in people's minds, I think, when you come through town. Have you got a chance to do any touring, like, shows outside of Toronto?
No, no, man.
Yeah.
In time. I
It
gotta focus a lot more on that. I feel like too, you for that, um, which we're kind of working on slowly, is you kind of need a team a little bit,
yeah.
or at least you need to connect with a few other artists who are doing that same thing,
Yeah,
and
100%, man, to book the cross country tour, yeah.
it comes into play what you say with a little bit of that work balance too, is you have to kind of pick where you can and can't, and sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. Sometimes you gotta pick those.
Yeah, yeah,
So
100%.
getting to
Sometimes the free
getting
art shit has to be backburnered, right?
yeah, man, getting to a place where you can kind of tip the scales and focus on the art a little bit more. That's kind of the goal.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, that makes sense, man. How about, how important is competition in hip hop?
Extremely important. I think it's important.
Yeah, um, now when you say that, are we talking, like, as far as, you know, MCs should be battle rapping, like, and should actually be battle rap ready at all points? I know some people have told me, that's what competition in hip hop looks like. Um, or how do you view competition, I guess?
Uh, same way I view movies. So like you got people who are Daniel Day Lewis, Robert.
Yeah,
So they can battle, they can cut a song, they can do, they can produce, or whatever and then you have people who are really good at giving you, like, you got Tom Cruise, you got Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. You got people that are really good at giving you exactly what you want.
right,
You can be assured that when you go see them or when you hear them, that's what you're gonna get. West Side Gun gives me what I want every single time. They give me what I want every single time. I don't need them to do a Mace track, to cut a Mace track,
right.
you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
So,
checks out, man. Um, yeah, and you know that if you go see a Will Ferrell movie, it's going to be worth some laughs, but it probably isn't going to be like, you know, a, a heavy dramatic movie that's going to change your life or whatever. Right.
no, but in the same way that it happens in acting with music, you can have artists grow
Yeah.
and then they have that record or that album that you're just like, "Jesus Christ, I didn't know this guy had it in him." They're able to do that they really tap into something at a certain point in time,
Yeah.
so that's what's exciting about the competition or the game or whatever you call it too, you know what I mean? You have so many people in so many places, so many spaces
Yeah. That checks
to
out, man.
hear all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. About, this one's been polarizing lately as I ask people, how important is keeping up with the news?
Um, I was like really young, I would have said, suck, put on cartoon. No, but no, seriously, the news is important. Got to keep up with that. It keeps you informed.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of shit going on right now that maybe you don't want to get political in your rhymes, but you should at least be, you know, up on what's going on politically.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. That makes sense, man. I think, yeah, I hear it in people's music when they're really just trying to make some surface level shit that's like accessible to everybody and that could be commercial because it's not gonna offend anybody or whatever. Um and if I'm being completely honest, I lose a little bit of respect for it because it seems like pandering. It feels a little bit too close to uh I don't know, just kinda like selling your soul for fame or whatever. If artists are willing to just kinda like tuck away every opinion that they have to make sure that they're not gonna offend anybody, it's like, I don't know, seems a little bit cowardly to me or something, right?
okay, I thought you meant in the other way. Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you're censoring yourself so that yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree. If
Yeah.
you have something to say, then wear that. Most things will come to light anyway.
Yeah. I agree completely, man. How about How important is any particular substance to your artistic process?
Um, I typically don't really like drinking or smoking or something like that.
Yeah.
I I like my tree, but that I mean, I'm probably doing that whether I'm writing or not, so
Do
that's
you ever
not
write
really a
sober? That's always an interesting question for MCs.
well, I do a lot of writing at work,
Okay.
you know? So, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, or I'll do like, it doesn't it doesn't depend on whether or not I'm smoking, to be honest, if that's what you mean. I'm not really a big drinker,
Okay.
so that doesn't have an effect on me like that, and, that's it, man. I'm not out here doing no crazy drugs.
Yeah, word, man. How about how important is the ability to freestyle?
I think it's important still, but, I'm not gonna say that I'm the nicest freestyler either, yo. But
Sure.
I think I don't know, like, I feel like all aspects of hip hop are important. Like, I was talking to my homie the other day about, how natural like, when you listen to Common freestyle, versus the difference between a free verse and a freestyle,
Yeah.
when you hear somebody really freestyle, and then when you hear somebody like Common freestyle, who's like who can really freestyle, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know?
I don't know if it's just MCs that can tell the difference between a legit freestyle and somebody spitting something that's written over a beat that maybe they didn't expect or whatever. Cause like, there's all this debate about like what is a freestyle, what isn't a freestyle. To me, when I'm talking about freestyle, I mean improv on the
Yeah.
spot lyrics, right? But if you ask Big Daddy Kane or KRS-One, then apparently it's just like about rapping without having a specific topic or something. And I kind of think like, isn't that pretty much everything anybody's ever rapped? Like raps are full of non sequitur, you know.
Oh, I feel what they're saying. They're saying that instead of having a solid through line, you're just putting anything together. So it could be written before or on the spot, or
Y- yeah, yeah.
I
But
see what they're saying.
I
Maybe it
think
evolved from that. I don't know.
yeah,
You know
well,
what I'm
and
saying?
I think that's kind of the more old school version of what freestyle means, but regardless of the definition argument, like I was gonna say I think MCs can tell when somebody is legitimately improving on the spot. Like you said, when you hear Common doing it and you can tell like, oh shit, this dude's actually like making it up as he goes. Cause you can almost hear the person's brain working, no matter how fucking good they are at it. You hear that it's not exactly like something Common would have written, right? Uh,
Right.
and yeah, I don't know if that's only MCs can tell that. I think, yeah, maybe the average person on the street, it's all
I
just
had a home
rap to them, you know?
I had a homie that a close friend of mine that passed away, Rusty Bridges. One of the best freestylers, bro, you ever hear, man. And like this guy could do it, just snatch it out the air, out of orbit. It's like, where did this guy get this from? Same
Yeah,
type of shit,
yeah.
Same type of shit.
That's amazing, man. When you see people, catch the Holy Spirit like that or whatever, and they almost start
Yeah.
levitating in the cipher, it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
haunted.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's an amazing moment, man. I wish more people got a chance to, see and recognize that happening because, yeah, a lot of people just see the freestyles that are happening on, Sway's Five Fingers of Death or whatever, and it's like, yeah, that's cool and all. Like those dudes are going off for sure, but like it's not quite the same as the like street level or open mic kind of cipher where sometimes guys just yeah tap in and manage to take off with the improv stuff. Um,
Well, you gotta wonder too, like maybe because we don't see a lot of it, it makes you wonder how much there is. There's probably a huge, like a lot of MCs that feel this way, that rap this way, but you only get the free verse. I guess, it comes down to like, I don't know if you're a established artist, you don't want to come on Sway
right.
or Funk Flex and fuck up. You know what I mean? You at least want your shit to be fresh. So I understand,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
show us that side too. You know?
Yeah. Well, and that's why I love kind of the like behind the scenes or like, studio footage when you get to see actual like in studio footage of songs being made. I fucking love that stuff, man. Like I now that we're in the streaming era, I wish more artists would cut a camera on for the studio sessions. Um not necessarily to like, be checking chat and talking with the people, but just to document the actual process cuz I don't know. To me, that would be badass if I could go back and watch studio sessions from some of my favorite albums being made or whatever, right? I'd watch
Trust
that
me,
shit for hours on end.
I love watching Alchemist in the studio, man. Alchemist is crazy. Love watching it in the studio.
Yeah,
It's
super talented, man.
yeah,
Um, I guess here, let me ask you one or two more of these how important questions. How important is living what you rap about?
pretty important. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, like I would imagine, so especially if you don't want to get checked for it,
yeah,
or or if you have to get checked for it, at least it's all real. So I would say, yeah, the best thing to do is live what you got.
yeah. That checks out, man. And then this one I like asking MCs just because, I get all sorts of different answers, and some of them are heartwarming shout outs to their significant others, and others are, people being like, I do this shit myself. I don't need anybody. But how important is having the right romantic partner for an artist?
Kind of. It's like, what do you mean? So like in terms of
Like,
what it?
I think some artists are probably more creative when they're alone, uh, or
Oh,
after
okay.
they've
I
just
see.
been through some heartbreak even, there's probably MCs who sit down and write their feelings out like that, and then there's other people who, tell me, like, having somebody in their corner kind of is the reason that they can do this thing.
I guess whatever works. I mean, whatever uh, sparks the creative juices the best. I guess like for me, um, everything is a little bit sacred. So it's probably easier for me to do it on a dolo thing than like I don't think it would matter either way
Right.
if I had a romantic partner or not. I definitely could say that like circumstances in life, let's say you break up with somebody or whatever the case is, influence how you're writing,
Yeah.
but I guess whatever works for that person. Sometimes they could be a muse too, I guess,
Yeah.
you know. Uh,
Mm. For
if
you,
you're
it
asking
doesn't
me,
seem to matter one way or the other?
uh nah. Go ahead. No, no.
Yeah, that's
Like
completely fair, man.
I've definitely, if you're talking about like having people that maybe you talked to people with in the past that have affected you, like my writing or content,
Yeah.
for sure,
Okay.
100%. Um, but I don't think I don't know. Maybe I was gonna say I don't think it's my best stuff, but that's really for the audience to decide at the end of the day.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So I always like to ask, I don't want to put people too much on the spot about political shit, but I do want to open the door for every guest that I have to comment on what's going on in America right now. Do you have any comment to make about what's going on in America right now? And as a quick follow up to that, would you do shows in America right now?
I do shows in America,
Okay.
um, but
You're
born in
allowed to say
Detroit.
no too if you don't, you know.
I was born in Detroit, but I've lived most of my life up here. You know what
Okay.
I mean?
Yeah.
Predominantly my whole life up here, and I got family there, but just I'm good here. I'll leave it at that. I'm good here. The world is in. Look, man, I don't want to get. I'm a little bit of like a conspiracy theorist, and I go down these rabbit holes and shit.
Yep.
So I don't want to say, you know what I mean. I'm just gonna say that like what's going on, it's crazy right now. My heart goes out to the people
Yeah.
that were taken. Uh, ICE is wild and crazy, and I don't support that. And yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much it.
That checks out, man. That's as much of a statement as I think people need to hear to to get the idea. I agree with you completely. Fuck ice, but yeah, man. I think it's it's tough in this climate right now to be sitting, just north of the border, hearing them talk about us being a 51st state or this or that, and not be somewhat concerned with what the fuck is going on down there. And on the conspiracy theorist tip, I think there's a lot of conspiracy theorists who are probably patting themselves on the back right now, saying like, "Yeah, see, I fucking told you." There's a lot of that stuff seems like it's pretty fucking real. But
Like
yeah,
maybe not even like wishing they weren't even right type of shit. Like there's a lot of that. You know,
yeah,
a lot.
yeah,
I don't think I've
definitely.
heard us in the mouth of Americans so much as I have recently. Like they never talk about us as much as they've been talking about us. That's
Yeah.
also what's kind of got me bugging. It's like,
Yeah, I was playing video games a while back with this guy. I don't know, he was 17, but he said he was joining the military as soon as he was 18. He's living in Mississippi. And me and my homie were like, okay, but if you're told to march on Canada, you're going to refuse the orders, right? And he was like, I'd be court-martialed, man. Once I'm in the military, you can't refuse orders. And we were just like, oh God, we're fucked. So
yeah,
yeah, it is what
yeah.
it is. But we hope for the best, I suppose. All right, man. Well, we've been talking for pretty much an hour here. I appreciate your time doing this thing.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Yeah, man, it's always fun connecting with different artists. Can I ask you before I let you go? I ask everybody this. Can you describe your local hip hop scene?
Describe my local hip hop. Uh, I don't. I mean, I guess nah. Like, I mean, I usually look to what's happening in Toronto. I'm not really sure what's going on in Durham right now. I mean, I work with a lot of people in Durham, but that's pretty much what I know.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it's people in the major, like, Toronto area.
Well, I mean, be as specific or non-specific as you want to be, but yeah, the Toronto scene counts too. We kind of touched on that. There's all sorts of talent coming out of
Yeah.
Toronto. Maybe not
You
getting
know,
as much shine as it should.
like a lot of people I mentioned before are close to me out here.
Yeah.
Like nine people. Those guys, they're out here.
Okay. Nice. Uh, Anybody in the Canadian scene who you'd like to collab with, who you haven't worked with yet?
Uh, Definitely Daniel's son is a big one. Somebody I'd like to collaborate or have collaborate.
Yeah, that's a good answer, man. Yeah, I could see that working out stylistically.
So like Raz Fresco
Yeah, yeah, Raz is dope as well. That could work out stylistically as well.
and Rick Ball. Kind of
Yeah,
a younger guy, but he's cold.
yeah, Gritfall's dope, man. His project with Roshan was super dope. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I actually got the chance to talk to Gritfall. I don't know, a few years back. He had just turned 18 when I first started doing this show, so he was one of the first guests on the show back in season one. But yeah,
I,
man,
I did a show where we opened for Elzai and Fat Cat,
nice.
and he was on the card, and I got to kind of briefly, I really chopped it up, but really dope.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So much talent out there that people are sleeping on. Anything we can plug, shows or tours or, projects, anything people should look out for?
Yeah, so I got the Joker tape coming out with Gone soon. Well, later on. I got the Altered States coming out. That's the one with a bunch of different artists on there.
Nice.
And me and Legit are cooking something up as well. Me and Ninth are cooking something up as well. There's always something in the kitchen. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Busy.
So it's just a matter of trying to, get it out there.
Nice, man. Where can people find you most often on social media?
Instagram, man. It's probably if I'm on social media, it's Instagram.
And it's just straight up Lazeppo over there, right?
Yeah, or Zep.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, man. Well, this has been fun. I hope you have yourself a good rest of your night. And
You
yeah, I'll
too,
keep
brother.
playing your music.
Thank you.
Hell
All
yes.
right, Doobyis.
Hey,
Peace, brother.
peace. Okay, everybody. Appreciate you hanging out. I should be able to get this interview online over on YouTube in the next couple of days here. Hit me on social media. Doobyis.com is the hub for everything that I do. You can always listen to hour-long mixes every week on After the Smoke is Clear. I play independent hip-hop and do my best to highlight as much talent across the country as I can every week. So I definitely suggest people tap in. As well, like Mixcloud is a nice app. It's not owned by the same tech pros who, we're all complaining about are ruining the entire everything right now. It's owned by some British guys, and it's not part of any of the big conglomerates. You can listen free, mixcloud.com/Doobyis, and you can always find the archives of Fly in Formation over on youtube.com/Doobyis. This was episode 127 of Fly in Formation. Next week, I'm talking to Asun Eastwood and Lord Juco. They're both return guests who I'm looking forward to reconnecting with. That'll be February 17th. Every Tuesday here on Twitch, you'll find me doing interviews with different artists. Come through if you've got questions, ask them, and I might ask them to the artists. February 24th, I'm talking to Michael Shabazz. March 3rd, I talked to Mackie Lavender. March 10th, I talked to K-Stone. March 17th, I talked to Sazy. March 24th, I talked to D.O.V and DJ Chino 420 of Hella Trees. And March 31st, I talked to the Sixth Letter, member of Baker's Club. We were just talking about Critfall there near the end of this one. But lots and lots of interviews coming up after that. Every Tuesday all the way through until July. And then I'm taking July and August off, and I'll be back in September, October, November. That's going to be the schedule I try to maintain. Interviews every Tuesday. Appreciate y'all. Catch you on the next one.